Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul joined alongside Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this on your computer, remember you can become a member very easily on your computer. There's a join button right underneath the title of this video. If you're on your phone, you can go and scroll down on our homepage. So go to our homepage, look at the three dots in the bottom right of your screen. You click on that. It says desktop version request or request desktop version. And right next to our logo, you should see the join button. If you're on your iPhone, you can do it that way. It's really awesome. We have 41 members right now. Ziggy just gave the update, 9 away from 50, in which I'll be doing an episode in the Jordan Love jersey, which I, again, really don't want to do. But at 50 members, I will do that. It's a small Jordan Love jersey, or youth large, I think, sitting right over there, ready to be worn, ready to mock me. So
it really shows off Paul's biceps. So you really want to.
It brings out the green eyes. It brings out the green eyes.
You're doing some curling, right?
Yeah. I'll have great in it. We're not arguing that. But
we also hit another big milestone today.
Please.
2 million total views. So member or not member, whatever. So many people have been tuning in, subscribing, listening to us. We appreciate all of you. I honestly,
that's cool.
We do this for fun. We do this for the love of the game, but it's a lot easier to have love for the game when there's so much engagement and support from you all.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
If we got any Penn State fans, I got debuting my Penn State hat on the show.
Oh, looks good.
It's the first time I've ever worn it on the show, I think.
For Saquon Barkley?
So we got any Penn State fans out there?
Sean Clifford?
No, Joe Paterno.
No,
I'm joking.
Dude.
I'm joking. Allen Robinson.
Wait,
and also, can you rate my pour? Rate my pour.
Oh, here, go ahead.
You got like a 2 last.
I know. I got a 2 last time.
Yeah, it is Friday Junior after all.
It is Friday. I forgot the shirt, though. I forgot the shirt. The beer's open. It's a Coors Light.
A Coors.
Here's the cup. Coors Light.
Straight pour. Yeah, it's people aren't going to be happy with that, Jack.
Yeah, at least you didn't come close to spilling this time. So I'd say it's like a 3.
All right, there you go.
I'd say it's at least like a 7.
That looked like that's a lot of foam.
It is a lot of foam.
That's a lot of foam.
It's a lot of foam. But
That's
we drink foam in Jersey.
Remember, if you can't watch along on YouTube, remember you can always check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and you can always check out our website for the merch store. There's some great shirts there. The I Love Love shirts do well. There's a JJ to JJ Viking shirt, or if you just want the classic Paul Farrington Show black T-shirt, purple logo, we have that. It's summer. It's hot outside. It's really hot in New Jersey today. Tank top could be perfect for you, the Paul Farrington Show tank top. So
can we get a
head
shirt
over there
that says Colorado is the Midwest?
Oh, yeah, we can.
I think we should get that, right?
100%.
That would have 0 sales.
If anyone
I think we would have quite a few.
Anyone with T-shirt recommendations, drop them in the chat, and we'll take a look, because we see every comment, and we're looking to expand the merch store later. So we appreciate anyone who comes up with some suggestions. Really fun episode today, guys. We'll have a mailbag later on. A draft of states. I don't even know where to begin with a state draft. How do you possibly draft states in a correct order? I mean, the subjectivity for this specific draft is off the charts. So that'll be a mess later on in today's episode.
South Dakota is up there.
I have no idea. I have first pick. I have no idea where I'm going.
Wisconsin.
But it's a great state. Great state. It's on the board for me.
So you're a great state.
Today's episode, though, OTA news, the OTA check-in. And these episodes are really fun to do because it helps us. We're constantly scouring the internet, taking in information about what's going on in the NFL. But these are the sorts of episodes where we really dive into what's going on for specific teams, specific player situations. And it's fun to just get the updates, because this is the time of year when anything's possible. Every quarterback is accurate. Every quarterback's in the best shape of their life. We've said this before. And where better to start than for producer Zach's team, the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa comes in to OTAs this year 10 to 15 pounds lighter than he was. He was playing at 220 all of last season. He wants to be more agile. He wants to increase his escapability. Remember last year he put on weight and he was taking jiu-jitsu lessons, trying to lessen the chance of injuries after he had that injury-plagued 2022 season. And, right now they want to try and go the other way. They're trying to get him to be a little bit more mobile. Remember at Alabama how good Tua was at getting out of the pocket and making plays? It's never really a runner, but he's a little bit more agile than we've seen in the past. And something I dove into, guys, is that Zach always talks about how Tua takes sacks in big games, how he's always under constant pressure and folding in big moments. So I took a look at a couple of the big Dolphins games from last season. Remember the Bills game? Zach was here at my house watching.
Mm-hmm.
4 sacks against the Bills in game 1 last year. 3 against the Chiefs in that international game where they lost. And then 4 sacks against the Eagles in that primetime game where Tua started to crumble late. So for the 29 sacks Tua took over the course of last season, 11 of them came in just 3 games, and 3 high pressure, big time games that, could have ultimately determined the Dolphins season, as they were just a win away from having a home playoff game last year. Instead, you go on the road to Arrowhead playing in the freezing cold, and we all know what a disaster that was. So it's important that Tua does improve in that regard. But at the same time, it's a little concerning to me because you have to keep him healthy, especially when they close the season at Green Bay versus the Jets, at Houston versus San Fran, at Cleveland, at the Jets. It's a tough end of the season for the Dolphins. And if Tua's not healthy, it's a big problem. Ziggy, do you see him losing the weight as a concern, or are you saying, all right, this should help him? I'm not too worried about the injuries.
This is actually a trend across the league. And while you think weight might help avoid injuries, oftentimes it's the opposite. Lamar Jackson came to training camp this year 25 pounds lighter than he was in 2022. So for a lot of these guys, the thing is while you talk about losing weight, you have a little bit less cushioning or whatever, you're also that much more agile. You're that much more fit. And if you're getting sacked by like a 280-pound defensive end, you're going to get hurt. Maybe it will be bad. Maybe it won't. But there's just no way to avoid injury if you're getting hurt. The hope is that you get this kind of agility and that lightness, and it helps you avoid getting hit in the first place. So I actually think with respect to Tua, if this means he takes a couple fewer sacks next season, that's going to have a much bigger impact than the extra 5 or 10 pounds is going to. Because what he's losing, these training regimens are so optimized in the NFL at this point.
They're crazy.
What he's losing isn't muscle. He's not getting weaker. They're getting every last bit of fat off that body. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for him. I actually am really optimistic that a slightly more agile Tua that's lost, like a couple percentage points of his body weight combined with the jiu-jitsu. He clearly made some improvements in the injury department last season. I think this will help him keep it going.
Okay.
Tua, overall, I'm a believer. I like him. I'm a fan. He was a bit of a chubster last year. So I do think that the 10 to 15, I think the 10 to 15 pounds off is definitely helpful. But again, it is hard to trust this dude because I've always defended the Dolphins. I said most of these hard games they've played on the road, unlike most other teams. Let's see how he plays prime time at home, a chance for the number 2 seed, and your rival comes in there and beats you. Then you go on the road in a playoff game, you lose by 30 points.
I mean, he threw 4 picks in that Bills game too.
He's throwing 4 picks at home, against the Bills. Right, I forgot. You're right, he did. So while I think he's a good quarterback, this is a good team who will probably make the playoffs again. It's tough to come into this season saying, okay, regardless of losing a few pounds or not, with this tough schedule, especially the end of the year, like you just read off, not easy to trust. Not at all. I'd like to, though. I think he's good.
Oh, no, I completely agree with you. And this leads in nicely to the second part of the Tua conversation when we look at the contract situation. Because right now, he's in amidst contract negotiations. So is Jordan Love, so is Dak Prescott. All these guys are reworking their deals. And when you see Jared Goff get $53 million a year on a 4-year, $212 million deal, it's easy to sit back now if you're a Dolphins fan and say, wow, Tua's going to ask for that kind of money. The stats are very similar. Goff threw basically 4,600 yards last season, second in the NFL. Tua 4,624. He led the league. Goff 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Tua 29 and 14. Like these guys put up very similar numbers. 12 wins for Detroit, 11 for Miami. When you're at the negotiating table and Miami's made an offer that Tua's already rejected. And Ziggy, we were talking about this just before the show started. I was texting you. I hate the situation when you have a good, not great quarterback, but you have to, like, if you're the Dolphins, you have to give him the money because you have a team that's ready to compete right now. You have an aging roster with guys like Tyreek Hill who are ready to win now. You have to give him the money, right?
It's the question you have to ask, is it in a vacuum? Because is Tua better than like Patrick Mahomes? No. But he's probably going to get more money than Patrick Mahomes. So when you step back and it's like that can seem alarming. But the question you have to ask yourself as a Dolphins fan is a better player coming through that door? And it's the same question the Cowboys are asking themselves of Dak Prescott. Yeah. It's the same question the Jaguars are asking of Trevor Lawrence. It's the same question a little bit the Packers are asking of Jordan Love when you're deciding how far are we willing to go on the contract. And replacing even an above average quarterback in the NFL is just tough. You see it every year, right? You need to have, in order to get it in the draft, you need to have like a top 10 draft pick to have a decent chance of it. And even then, it's still terrible. It's very rare a guy like Kirk Cousins is available in free agency. Usually free agent quarterbacks are guys like Derek Carr, who their teams are letting him go for a reason. It's just so tough to replace a good quarterback. So even as the market skyrockets, I think back in like 2016, Andrew Luck got $25 million.
Yep.
Now Jared Goff is getting twice that. It's very difficult in a certain way to look back and say these are good numbers. But at a certain point, I think even if you're not happy with what Tua has done, it's tough to justify closing the window.
And Jared Goff is good. I don't want to make it sound like we all think Jared Goff is very good.
Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback, but he's in 10-5 rather than 5-1.
Borderline, yeah. I think he hovers around that top 10 spot. I'd say closer 10 to 12, 13, but to each his own.
The thing that makes me worried about Tua, honestly, because part of what you're paying for is the leader, right?
Yep.
We'll talk about this when we talk about Green Bay a little bit later, but in many OTAs, you're seeing basically everyone show up. And what are they saying? Nick Bosa showed up to the 49ers OTAs for the first time this year. Basically the first time in his career.
Tua is there now.
For the Dolphins?
I believe Tua is there now.
Yeah, Tua's there, but the question is who's not there. Raheem Mostert, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Odell, Terron Armstead, Jalen Ramsey, Kendall Fuller, Shaq Barrett, Zach Sealer, right? So almost every single starter, I'm not excluding the ones who are absent for injuries, right? Like Chubb, Phillips, Chop Robinson,
yep.
But like almost every starter on the team isn't there. So I worry a little bit about Tua's ability to lead this team when you see other quarterbacks, even Brock Purdy is stepping in and saying, look, I contacted Nick Bosa and tried to make sure he'd show up because we're here to win. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, for some of the first practices of the year, aren't able to get any of their starters to show up. That's worrying if you're looking at Tua as the guy who's going to lead this team.
He can't force people to show up,
No, but like,
who knows?
Somehow Jordan Love can do it.
Well, maybe Tua tried. You don't know. You just
if he tried and failed, that's even worse. No one's going to listen to Tua to show up to practice.
I mean, it's so luxurious. So we've said this time and time again. You don't know what it's like to have an above average QB until he's gone.
Oh, 100%.
And I mean, me as a Steelers fan, I can speak from serious experience. We've stung for the last
recent experience.
Recent experience. He's like, and you said too, like an older, aging team who has what it takes. I mean, unlikely, but has what it takes to be the last team standing. He's got to be the guy. What are you going to take a gamble or a risk with someone else?
If Miami had stayed healthy last season and had been able to secure the number 2 seed or even get the 1 seed, there is a legit Super Bowl shot.
No, if they won a game at home,
100%.
They had the number 2 seed.
Yeah, 100%. If they were competing in Miami for a chance to go to the Super Bowl on that playoff run, I think they were very legitimate threats. The whole problem was
tough for me to look at it. It's tough for me to. I'm sorry. It's tough for me to look at a team that lost 7-26 in the playoffs and say that was the Super Bowl threat.
No. I'm saying if they'd stayed healthy. You got to remember that team was decimated at the end. Waddle was banged up. So Waddle was hurt. Bradley Chubb was out. Jalen Phillips got hurt. Who else was out in the corner? One of the corners was Howard hurt. I think Howard got hurt. Like
they were starting players we'd never even heard.
No, they were playing people we didn't know. I give them a pass on last season. Now they lost a lot of guys in free agency too. That's another issue for Miami. But when you talk about last year's Dolphins, that team was rolling, and then just unfortunately, it's like almost like the Knicks with they actually were kind of like the Knicks this year. They got crushed.
If the Dolphins had won that game at home, but they host the Steelers round 1, then they host another game. So it's a totally different.
Like the Dolphins easily could have. This Dolphins team could easily be coming off an AFC Championship game appearance. But because of the way the season unfolded, and you go into Kansas City, and it's -1 degree,
and no one's going to win there.
No one's going to win there, especially that Dolphins team in -1 degree weather. Yeah, they got steamrolled. It happened, and now the perception's a little different around Miami. But this team was really good for a large portion of the season, and I do think, despite the 1-5 record against playoff teams last year, like you can't ignore the fact that Tua has struggled in big games. They got blown out in big games. He chokes under pressure sometimes. He still has the Dolphins in the best position they've been in 20 years. Go and look on Pro Football Reference. Look at the Dolphins' record by season. Someone commented this the other day. Miami has quietly been one of the worst franchises in the NFL over the past 2 decades. I mean, they haven't won a playoff game since 2000 or 2001.
They've been abysmal.
Yeah. And they followed up that 2000 win in overtime against the Colts by losing 27-0.
Yeah, so we can't ignore that this Dolphins team has been dreadful. I mean, there's a 1-15 season in there. So for any Dolphins fans who want to throw Tua off the boat right now, go and take a look at what you've been versus what you are right now. And if you get rid of Tua, who knows the next time? Who knows when you're going to be back in a situation like this?
Can I just say something funny about this Dolphins team?
Yeah, please.
So you said they haven't won any playoff games, and that's true since 2000. They won in 98, 99, and 2000. As I said, in 2000, they followed up that win losing 27-0. In 1999, they followed up their win by losing 62-7. In 1998, they followed up their win by losing 38-3. So if the Dolphins win a playoff game this year, it could get ugly fast.
Alt spread.
The other team with the alternate spread.
We go alt spread. We immediately are.
I mean, they lost 62-7 to the Jaguars.
Wait, Ziggy, this calls for a Ziggy Dolphin noise. Can you make it?
I'm trying, man. It's tough.
So this is.
Paul, can you make one?
No, I can't. No, I'm not trying it.
See, Paul, at least I tried.
Not even attempting it.
I mean, I did. You just heard that. That was a horrible sound.
No, try it.
So we talked about having possibly a shorter show. This is going to be a long show here.
Animal noises for the boys.
You talk, Jack, about what it's like to move on from a good, not great, sometimes great quarterback.
I had a great quarterback.
Yeah, no, you had a great quarterback.
I didn't have a good, not great. I had a great quarterback.
At the end of his career, he was okay. Ben Roethlisberger was a good quarterback.
I would have kept him for another 4 years.
You don't know what you have till it's gone. I'm actually starting to have a little bit of that now with Kirk Cousins. And this entire time I've been sad because I love rooting for Kirk. I have Kirk Cousins t-shirts. I have no other player where I have a Kirko Chains t-shirt. Nothing similar to that. Kirk Cousins just became someone that I loved rooting for as a person and a player with the Vikings. And the other day, when I saw the deep ball he had down the right sideline to Kyle Pitts, Ziggy, I know you're not a huge. You said it got overhyped.
It was a nice throw from Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it went viral. But again, I just saw that throw and I thought to myself, "Damn, Kirk, like Kirk can really sling it." And I started thinking about just how great he's been over the past 2 seasons. And now that we step into this uncertain future in Minnesota, I'm looking at Atlanta. And all reports indicate that Kirk is ready to go. It's pretty amazing given that he tore his Achilles, he ruptured his Achilles 7 months ago. And he's saying if the Super Bowl were today, he'd be ready to play. All the reports out of Atlanta are that this guy's, exactly what they signed up for. A great leader, hard worker, the accuracy's still there, the brain is there. Like Kirk Cousins is giving Atlanta what they signed up for. And I just want to go into this a little bit, guys, because I don't think people realize that behind the goofiness of Kirk Cousins, there is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL that the Falcons acquired. In 2022, the Vikings were 13-4 with the 31st ranked defense in yards per game and the 30th defense in points per game. So listen to the points per game standing. 32nd were the Bears. They wound up with the number 1 overall pick. 31st, the Cardinals, number 3 overall. 29th, the Colts, 4th overall pick. 28th was Detroit, drastically improved second half of the year defense. They came on at the end. They were 1-8 at one point. 27th defense in the league, 2022. The Texans, 2nd overall pick. 26th, the Raiders, 7th overall. 25th, the Seahawks, 5th overall. So you see what I'm going on this long rant here. Every defense that sucked had a top 5 or, close to top 5 pick, except the Vikings, who were 13-4, the number 3 seed, and went to the playoffs. That defense gave Daniel Jones his contract. That defense was horrendous, and Kirk Cousins carried them to a playoff win. And right before he got hurt last season, they beat San Francisco, and then they went into Green Bay and beat the precious Packers and Jordan Love on their home field. Like, I don't care what people say about Kirk Cousins. Look at the numbers right now. He hid critical flaws in this Vikings team for 2 straight seasons. And, he took an average roster and turn them into a playoff team, a Super Bowl contender in some people's eyes at one point. So I personally think Atlanta has a stud.
Well, how much better is Atlanta's D than the Vikings D? Like, is it that much better?
The Atlanta defense was borderline top 5 last year. I mean, I don't think it's quite that good.
Really?
No, not top 5.
By the numbers, Atlanta had a very, very good. Now, as I said, I don't think they're as good as that. No, seriously.
I mean, what I was
you got to find those numbers right now, my friend, because I am not even close to buying top. They didn't have a sack, right?
Well, what I was going to say was this: let's say it was the other way around, where Cousins was taking the Falcons to the playoffs, but not winning. And it's like, oh, now Cousins goes to Minnesota with Justin Jefferson and all these guys. Wouldn't it be the same sort of hype about that?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just a carbon copy situation.
You think the Vikings are the Falcons?
I think it's going from average team to a little bit better, maybe.
Oh, no. I actually think the Vikings are a better team.
Yeah, average team to average team.
No, but what I'm saying is that Kirk Cousins is able to take an average team and make them a contender.
I think Kirk Cousins is very, like, the Falcons are probably my number 4 seed in the playoffs.
No, and I'm saying that means something. Where people are having the reaction of, oh, will Kirk recover? Like, this guy is a star. He's a Coles guy who's a nerd. But at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins is a star in the National Football League. And that's why I think if I'm an Atlanta fan, we like the Buccaneers on this podcast. We think they're a good team heading into next season, but Kirk Cousins is clearly the best quarterback in the NFC South next year.
I don't
even think it's close.
The Falcons should be positioned to play in the divisional round.
Exactly. And or at the very least, they should be hosting a playoff game.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
And when you go down their schedule, it is not a tough schedule in Atlanta this year. If they can steal a couple games that people think they're going to lose, this can easily be an 11 or 12 win team, possibly. I mean, Kirk Cousins, like, that's the Kirk Cousins effect, is that now if they're the 3 seed or something like that, like, Atlanta has a shot. And if you're hosting playoff games, you never know.
Well, you got 2 automatic wins against the Panthers, probably 2 against the Saints, split with the Bucks. That's 5 right there. You just need 5 more. You're probably a playoff team.
And you can't underrate the fact that Kirk Cousins, the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, is Zach Robinson, who he's another one of those Sean McVay disciples, exactly like Kevin O'Connell. So if you're talking about his ability to step in and elevate the offense right away, and I trust that Raheem Morris is going to take a defense that over the second half of last season was about 10 in DVOA and make it even better. This is what people forget. The Falcons defense sucked at the beginning, but by the end of the season, Jesse Bates, David Onyemata, like, there were a lot of good players producing hardcore. I really think this Falcons team, everyone's saying they're a shoe in the playoffs just because they're in a weak division, and I think that's true, but it could get a lot better pretty quickly.
Here's the end of the season for the Falcons right now. The Saints. So I'm not sure. This is the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 games. Here, listen to the schedule. This is pretty. Host the Saints, host the Bucks, at the Panthers, host the Seahawks, at the Bucks, host the Cowboys, tough game, at the Saints, tough game, at Denver, host Chargers, at the Vikings, at the Raiders, host the Giants, at the Commanders, host the Panthers. I mean, I know
probably a favorite.
But based on Vegas forecasted win totals, the Falcons have the easiest schedule by a country mile.
So yeah, you're talking about a team that's improved drastically at the most important position of all in sports, combined with an easy schedule and a terrible division. It's on in Atlanta.
But now a good quarterback too.
Yeah, as long as Kirk stays healthy, which all indications are from his career that he really should be. Of course, he's never come off an Achilles injury before, but I
mean, O-line's got a big job because he can't move.
Yeah, no, he can't. But he's never been able to move.
No,
he's never been.
That's what the O-line.
Now he really can.
The O-line's important.
Now he can, but it's a great offensive line in Atlanta, and we'll see. We'll see what guys like Kyle Pitts and Drake London can do. This is their opportunity, and if they don't produce with Kirk Cousins, they're like, I don't expect them to produce at all in their careers. So we'll see what happens. But I'm just watching these videos of Kirk in practice, going, man, this guy. I miss this guy. I really do. I don't
think you're going to miss him for too long, Paul, based on what we're hearing coming out of the Vikings.
Oh, stick around. We have some JJ McCarthy updates. Ziggy did a deep dive into JJ McCarthy.
I spent probably 3 hours today watching film from the practices and listening to podcasts from reporters.
All right. I can't wait. Well,
Paul, he's our quarterback.
You've done your preparation.
I want to know all about him.
He's ready. He's ready.
We do research on this show. We do real research on this show.
It's coming. All right. A few more topics here at OTAs. Sticking in the NFC South, and actually, this is another quarterback that I'm excited for personally, and I know Jack is not going to be, but with CJ Stroud bursting on the scene last year, Anthony Richardson, a lot of hype before he got injured, 6 rookie quarterbacks this year. It's easy to forget that Bryce Young was the number 1 overall pick heading into year 2 this season in Carolina.
Bozos.
See, that's what everyone's saying.
Bozos. Well, because they are. I mean, everyone's right.
2-15 record, finished very low, if not last, in a lot of major statistical categories. Head coach fired after a 1-10 start, and everyone's down on Bryce Young. But not me. Not me, Jack.
It's because you're a fool.
Well, I think this guy walked into a really difficult situation last year. Like, Adam Thielen was by far the best weapon on the team. Look at the other guys. CJ Stroud, sure, I think he was a huge part in Tank Dell and Nico Collins elevating their game. But those guys, they had great seasons. Richardson and Michael Pittman, even the rookies right now, Caleb, Jaden Daniels, McCarthy, they are in great situations. We talked about Drake May in New England and whether or not the Patriots should even draft him because of, or some people said, because of how bad their weapons are. Carolina might have even been worse than what's in New England this current season. So for a kid who's 22 years old, it's not a great environment. Now you add Deontay Johnson, who's a problem for a team, but a great football player. Would you agree with that? Very good football player. I loved
having him, yeah.
Deontay's awesome. Xavier Legette, 6'1", 220, runs a 4.39. Like another great weapon there. Jonathan Brooks, the star out of Texas, he's going to be healthier, the running back. Like you got him now. And all of a sudden, this team has a bit more juice to it. And so does Bryce Young, man, because that dude is looking yoked right now. Look at his picture, Jack, of Bryce Young in practice. Compared to last season, Ziggy, I wish I could show you right now. Compared to last season.
But put it on the screen for the fans.
I'm going to throw it on the screen.
The man is getting in the way.
Last season, week 1 to this season, like Bryce Young has put on some weight. People are raving about him.
I put on some muscle, too, in the last year. See that, Ziggy?
People are going nuts on Bryce Young. Go ahead, Ziggy.
Well, Paul, I think you missed the biggest addition, actually.
I did. Go for it.
Offensive coordinator, now turned head coach, Dave Canales.
Yes.
And it's easy, I think, to overlook this, but look at the results he's gotten in the past couple seasons. 2022, what was his job? Quarterback coach of the Seahawks. Revitalized Geno Smith's career. 2023, what's his job? Offensive coordinator, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Revitalizes Baker Mayfield's career. Now 2024, he has another job ahead of him, bringing back Bryce Young's career. And honestly, if there's a guy in the NFL who can do it, who's shown that he's really good at taking guys who have been in terrible situations and throwing that all out the window and getting them to start over, it's him.
And he was also the guy with Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was having his career seasons in Seattle. Like he
was the quarterback's coach in Seattle from 2018 to 2021.
Yeah, no, he was working.
And we saw once Russell Wilson lost him, how bad that went. Geno Smith losing him didn't make him a whole lot better. So for a guy whose job is to come in and basically build Bryce Young from the ground up, it's got to be an exciting addition for the Panthers.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, I have to abstain here from going back on my take because right now my initial take is looking fantastic. Saying that number 1 pick was such a bust.
Let's say we wiped the take right now. Do you have any confidence?
I think no, I don't. I think he's small and I just don't like him.
No, I mean, look. So far he hasn't been great.
I do believe, and this is coming from somebody who said last season that CJ Stroud was my clear-cut number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if Bryce Young had gone into Houston with Nico Collins and who else do they have?
Tank Dell and
Dolan Brown. CJ Stroud made those guys. I don't think Bryce Young. I think Houston is still a bottom basement dweller, not being talked about with Bryce Young.
No, I think it's fair to think that way. I think Bryce Young was in a crappy situation, and now he's with the head coach who has a real shot of turning him around.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And when you look at Bryce Young's strengths, right? What are his strengths? His strength is accuracy all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have a functional offense, and I know people are hopeful Reich would give them a functional offense, but that didn't happen. Like Bryce Young's strength is that he can be competent day in, day out. But when you have an offense that's that bad with no one around him, you just don't get a chance to showcase that. And that makes him different than the kinds of quarterbacks we're often seeing being taken early on, right? Guys like Anthony Richardson, like Caleb Williams, who really have that extra bit to add. But if you're asking, can Bryce Young become an above average quarterback? I think he will need to be in a functional offense. But the difference, and you can already see how they're talking about it. When Bryce Young is asking, why are we doing this? He's getting answers that he can understand. Receivers are talking about how Bryce Young is really taking a step up as a leader and is really trying to be involved in shaping the offense so that he can be the best player he can be. That's the kind of stuff you need for Bryce Young to be successful.
Look, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong.
I mean, if you listen to Canales talk, like this guy's smart. You listen to his interviews. Kirk Herbstreit was saying that his coaching style is as much about the psyche of a quarterback as anything else. And for Bryce Young, who was, again, bottom of the league in so many categories last season, it's important that you have someone coming in there who is a strong coach, who is someone who's going to work on the mental game for Bryce. And right now, yeah, Ziggy, you said it. Everybody's talking confidently about him. Tommy Tremble came out and he said he's having fun with it. It feels like he's ready to just take off. And I listen to those sorts of things. I know it's that time of the year, but I think that from what you're seeing with everyone, it looks like, and they made additions on the O-line too. They reworked the interior. I'm not saying Carolina's going to be a playoff team or anything, but I think you're going to see a drastically improved Carolina offense for a team that probably still wins 6 or 7 games, but that's a huge improvement from 2-15.
Did Carolina beat Houston last year? They did, right? Didn't Bryce Young beat Stroud head-to-head?
I think they did. I think that was one of their.
That was their first win, was it? They're like 1-8.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Was it? Was that one of them, Ziggy?
I think it was their first.
That was a win.
Okay. Look, I worked with Bryce Young a little bit when he had the Bryce Young podcast as part of my company. Really nice kid, but also you got that vibe, and I thought you saw it a lot in college. Dude's pretty unflappable. We asked him, he had games where he struggled at times, and we would talk about it, and he's just like, yeah, move on to the next one.
He also beat no good teams in college.
No good team?
Yeah.
Maybe Texas on the road right before Texas exploded.
Texas wasn't that good then.
Yeah, but it's Texas on the road.
But like Georgia, LSU, Tennessee. I didn't like him.
He was the one who beat Georgia.
He got killed by Georgia.
No, not in the SEC championship game.
Oh, Georgia wanted Bama so they could beat him in the championship.
Yeah. Okay, and then he took him to the wire without Jameson Williams.
Georgia wanted them in so they could beat him later because they stunk.
No.
That's why
he's the only one who beat Georgia over the course of 2 years.
Georgia let him win. I don't want to hear. They let him win the game. You know that.
Yeah, sure, man. Georgia let him win.
Yeah, because they paced him in the championship game. They wanted them in the playoff.
Jordan Love now. Jordan Love just continues to win, guys. He's winning with his teammates. Winning with the media, winning with our podcast, winning the Packers fan base. There's been a lot of winning in Green Bay since that November 13th game last year when the Packers beat the Chargers en route to winning 7 of their next 10 games, going within an Anders Carlson missed field goal of the NFC Championship game. They really should have been in the NFC Championship game last year. And despite the ongoing contract negotiations, Jordan Love's been present with his team as ever. He's in the schedule release video. He's at the voluntary workouts. Dude is doing everything that you want the leader of a franchise to do. And he's saying everything too. He said, there's no room to get complacent. There are high expectations in Green Bay, and it's easy to become a fat cat. We've seen it happen to teams and players before. That does not appear to be the situation happening at Lambeau right now. And Matt LaFleur said, you feel the confidence in him, the way he projects himself in front of the team. That's what you expect. You expect guys to continue to push and get better and better and better. And we talked about, you mentioned all the players who are missing time with the Dolphins at the voluntary workout, Ziggy. That's not the case with Green Bay. LaFleur said this is the most packed he's ever seen voluntary workouts in the offseason attendance in 5 years working with the Packers as head coach, nearly 100%. And that Jordan Love being there is invaluable. He said the team respects the hell out of him. Do you think personally that any of this matters? Because I do.
I think it matters, and I think to see why it matters, you just have to go back to 2022 with Aaron Rodgers. He skipped OTAs, and no matter how much he insisted it didn't matter, I just do not believe that the fact that he came out swinging and had no chemistry with his guys had absolutely, in Rodgers' word, it had nothing to do with the fact that things weren't going well. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous, right? Every single practice that you can get in there and work with your guys matters. And that doubly matters because as LaFleur and Jordan Love have both come out and said, last year during the offseason, things were heavily restricted for Love, right? They were trying to get him ready to play quarterback in the NFL. And you saw early on the play calling was really restrictive. Not this year. This year, everything is going to be open from day one. And it's critical when you're trying to do so many things with so many young players. They're not new, but you think about how many snaps Jordan Love has actually played with Christian Watson between all the injuries. It's not that many. Every snap you can get with these guys matters. And having a team that's locked in from day one, I can't believe that doesn't make a difference for how prepared you're going to be for week 1 of the season.
Especially when you're all so young too, and all coming up together and meshing together and gelling together. It shows that they want to play. Like they want to get out there. Yeah. They're ready to go. Like you said, Ziggy, from day one, it's like a let's do this attitude.
No, I think it's a theme that you've seen really from the moment they lost to San Francisco with the Packers. Go back and look at those exit interviews.
They're going to come in hungry, real hungry.
No, they are. They're a hungry team, and they've approached the entire offseason that way. And Packers fans have let us know. We have a lot of comments from Packers fans that just say, like, have you seen this team right now? Have you seen Love's workout here? Have you seen XYZ? Like every single player on this roster, top to bottom, seems to be locked in And yeah, LaFleur noted that with basically everybody there for offseason workouts so far. And yeah, so we all agree that matters. And when you have the quarterback leading the charge, it's a great look for Jordan Love, but it also shows, it feels like him and CJ Stroud are really the guys pushing this next, it's weird to say next year because CJ Stroud's 22, Jordan Love's 25. He's closer to, he's the same age as Justin Herbert, but they feel like some of these guys who are ready to take that superstar leap, like real superstar leap, almost the way Anthony Edwards, if we're going to equate it to an NBA player right now. If you were to say who's going to take over as one of the next faces of the league, those would be the two guys I'd say to represent each conference who have a shot. And if they both have that same mentality of like, hey, well, let's come in here, not mess around, be great team leaders, and it seems to be paying off. Is that fair? I mean, do you guys like that comparison?
Yeah, no, I think you can pair Jordan Love with CJ Stroud because they've both been starting quarterbacks for a year.
Same year.
And it's not like 25 years old is old. He's still very, very young.
Yeah.
Like Justin Herbert has been starting since he came out of Oregon, whereas Jordan Love and CJ Stroud both played their first season this past year. So yeah,
nobody jabbed Aaron Rodgers with the wrong needle in the lawn.
Yeah, right. Do you remember that with Herbert, Tyrod Taylor?
That's how Herbert got his starting job.
Do you remember that week 1 when Tyrod Taylor got the injection and went his lung and they had to play?
Yeah, the doctor punctured his lung and he couldn't play.
Who was Tyrod Taylor playing for?
The Chargers?
The Chargers.
Why do I not remember that at all?
It was probably because he didn't play snap.
But like, I mean, you're telling me Justin Herbert wouldn't have overtaken him anyway? Like,
oh no,
he would have eventually.
Yeah,
I think if you're a Packers fan, you have to be happy seeing this because he can't start 2-5 again this year. The Packers had a miraculous turnaround and won 6 of their last 8. But you can't count on streaks like that in the NFL. And if you do have streaks like that, that's the kind of thing that can get you the 1 seed or the 2 seed. They cannot, if their goals are what they say their goals are to win the Super Bowl, it's every single game matters. You can't go 9-8 and hope to sneak into the playoffs again.
Well, we talked about it, the Packers schedule, and that there's the chance that they could get off to a red hot start. But within those first, 5 games right here, you've got the Eagles in Brazil, the Colts, the Titans, the Vikings, and the Rams. The Rams and Eagles are 2 teams that, and the Vikings might be a sneaky playoff contender. We don't know how Sam Darnold or McCarthy
Anthony Richardson could be great.
Oh, no, but I'm saying in terms of the NFC, the Eagles could very well be a team that is back competing for the 1 seed. In Green Bay, they want to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to be competing for the 1 seed as well. There are a lot of games there in the beginning of the season where if Green Bay can beat LA, can beat Philadelphia, now you set yourself up well where, all right, all of a sudden, if you can beat Detroit or San Francisco later in the year, the 1 seed really becomes a possibility. So the first 5 games are super important because there are a couple of those major matchups coming down the road. So all seems well in Titletown, unfortunately, but when is it not?
Well, fortunately for our show.
Yeah, unfortunately for the show, but unfortunately for people who root against the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking for any Viking silver lining, Josh Jacobs and Zach Tom are not practicing right now. So maybe there'll be some messed up chemistry between the running back and the right side of the offensive line.
Remember, you could check out on our website the I Love Love shirts. Those people seem to like those. They've been.
I mean, we thought we were going to have to. I was excited for us to be able to scrap those and replace them with like Caleb Williams Packer shirts because of that terrible start from Jordan Love. They got to stay out.
Yeah, I love shirts. So you can go check those out at paulfarringtonshow.com.
Ziggy's got his Packer green on now. So
oh no, unfortunately we're gonna have an episode coming up where Ziggy's in the what is it, the poncho, and I'm in
the Packers poncho.
It's gonna be miserable
for the members, but we'll see.
Speaking of blue sky franchises, Jack, your Steelers.
Yes.
Little bit, tiny bit, not really. Quarterback competition going on right now.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that. To the Steelers. There you go. So Justin Fields, he's been a little bit more vocal recently. As a Pittsburgh Steeler, he came out and said, it was a relief to know he was going to Pittsburgh, that was the spot he wanted to be at. But when you dive into it, there are some big pros and big cons about Justin Fields having his time in Pittsburgh right now. So I wanted to lay him out real quick. A couple of the pros that I think, it's an established culture of success in Pittsburgh. You have guys like Mike Tomlin, who everyone wants to play for. A little less pressure is on Justin Fields right now to come in and immediately succeed, with Russell Wilson projected to be, and he will be, the starter for week 1. So a little bit of a back seat for Fields where he can step back and learn and reassess his career, rejuvenate it. The con, though, is that you're not playing. Like, you're going to be the number 2 on the depth chart to start the season. You do have a defensive-minded head coach. The weapons are okay. around him, and it's a tough division that's filled with fantastic defenses, fantastic pass rushers like Myles Garrett. So is this a good spot for Justin Fields to actually be in? Do you believe him when he says this is the place I want it to be?
Well, first off, I feel like it's a Sunday in Pittsburgh because we're talking about Steeler football. I got a little buzz going. It's like I'm on the boat.
A little buzz off half a course.
3/4 of a course. I drank more before this show too. It's like I'm on the boat from the Sheraton Hotel over to Heinz Field. But so Justin Fields brings a certain level of skill and athleticism in Pittsburgh we've never seen. But with Arthur Smith as the OC right now, with I think how the Steelers want to play is what they've kind of the traditional Pittsburgh Steeler type game. You run the ball, you use tight ends, you play strong, you play physical.
Play action, yep.
Play action, yes. Which is a big part of that, what he likes to do. And I think we're built more for that, obviously. And Russ, to me, is just a better quarterback in that style, in that system, what Arthur Smith wants to do with the offense. But Justin Fields, I've never seen a Pittsburgh quarterback able to run for an 80-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can bring that dynamic athleticism to Pittsburgh. I wouldn't mind things too, like maybe Russ gets us down the field, and you can bring in Justin Fields on the 5-yard line, have him like Lamar it and take him to the end zone, like stuff like that. But I definitely rather right now see Russ as our number one quarterback.
Okay, so but do you think it's a good spot for Fields though for his career?
I mean, honestly, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I love him in the AFC North, but I'm rooting for him.
Like Ziggy, if you were Justin Fields, do you think it'd be better for him to have been a Falcon in the NFC South or to be with the Steelers?
Being a Falcon, I don't think was ever really an option. But I will say this: is I think about like what happened to Sam Darnold, right? Where he had a really rough time with the Jets and the Panthers, but he's talked about now publicly, now that he's with the Vikings, how having a year in San Francisco, being with a functional organization that does things the right way, it helped him gain some perspective and really approach his career a little bit differently. And he got a better understanding of who he was as a player. And now he's out there with the Vikings trying to revitalize his career. I think that taking a year and just being somewhere where everything works, right? And in Pittsburgh, you can say what you want from the outside. Things work there. They have good coaches. They have functional players. Like they will go in, practice, and play a good game of football every single week. That's just what they do. That kind of thing, going there from the dysfunction with the Bears, will be night and day for Justin Fields.
100%.
And he's only there for a year, right? So like he doesn't have to worry about like, are the Steelers my career landing spot? I think they're almost certainly not. But he'll likely get to start a game or two. How many years has it been since the Steelers have started one quarterback for 17 games or 16 games? It's been forever. He'll probably get a couple games and he'll get a chance to practice. And it's just a chance to press the pause button on your career, develop as a quarterback, and be somewhere where things actually work.
That's the thing too, is Justin Fields, I mean, like, he's a winner. He played a national championship game, one of the better QBs in the country for years at Ohio State, and goes to the NFL and doesn't see that.
Played well at the end of last year, too.
You know, he did. But now going to a team who, for whatever reason it may be, is always a good team, could be a good thing for him.
And Russell Wilson as well. A lot of people get on him for the antics, and he's a corny guy, easy to make fun of. But he's another dude where the system usually works for him. I know Denver wasn't great, but they were coming on at the end of last season. And the way you hear everyone talk about him, the work ethic you can't deny. He's an accurate quarterback. He's a good teammate. Like, you can't deny those things. Although, I've heard stories about he's a weird teammate, but at the end of the day, I do think he's a good teammate and helps set a precedent for a strong culture in a locker room most of the time. And so far, that's what everyone's saying. He's the last man off the field. He's looks good. He's talking to all the teammates. He's interviewing with the offensive coordinator after practices. Like, everything you talk about Russell Wilson has been good so far. So he's someone who I do think can be a good teacher as well. As a former mobile quarterback, not as much anymore, but he can be a great teacher for someone like Justin Fields. And I agree with you though, Jack. Even though Justin Fields is saying it's a competition. I'm coming in every week trying to push Russell Wilson. And if Russ just sucks and Fields is great, then yeah, maybe it is. All indications seem to be that Mike Tomlin knows, Justin Fields knows, Russell Wilson knows, Arthur Smith knows. Russell Wilson will be the quarterback for next season. So that I don't think it's a bad thing at all. As you said, Ziggy, hit pause a little bit and try and rejuvenate this career, whether it's in Pittsburgh next season or somewhere else. Yeah, George Pickens, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I just thought it was so funny I had to include it. He was in an interview with Jason Mackey of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and he was just talking about his work ethic. He goes, I don't take a lot of time off. Sometimes I don't even sleep. I pull all-nighters just thinking about football. And then he carried on saying that we haven't seen 100% of his ability yet. He goes, I'd say probably 80%. I can only go off of how the quarterback plays. I can thrive more. I should have been in the Pro Bowl last season. And I mean, another shot from all these Steelers receivers. The shots at Kenny Pickett have just been crazy.
No, they hated this guy. But I'll give George Pickens some advice. If he wants to reach his potential, maybe he should get some sleep.
Oh yeah. I the dude staying up all night thinking about football. To be fair, Kenny Pickett across 11 games last year, like 11 games that he played basically start to finish, had 2,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. So, I mean, there is some truth to it, but you just don't say that.
You know, the last time I was in Pittsburgh, it was outside the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette building at like 2 a.m. I met out with a girl I met at the bar.
Jeez. Oh my God.
That's why PPG caught my eye or caught my ear when you said Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I love the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
All right, we're going over to JJ McCarthy. The JJ McCarthy update. As Ziggy said earlier, he's been diving into the film. He's listening to podcasts. He's listening to interviews. Ziggy knows more about JJ McCarthy than any man on this planet right now.
I think I know JJ McCarthy better than his mother.
Probably. Maybe better than he knows himself.
Wait, Ziggy. Are you related to Ziggy Wilf?
It's not how it works.
Oh, that's first.
What?
Never mind.
So JJ, he's having his ups and downs so far at Vikings OTAs. The size is there. The mobility is there. The arm strength is there. I saw a tweet from Alec Lewis that said one thing is very obvious. He said the cliche that the ball jumps out of his hand maybe applies to JJ McCarthy better than he's ever seen before. He said the dude has major juice in his tweet. So there's been his fair share of mistakes, fair share of glamorous moments with the Vikings so far. Ziggy, what's your first main takeaway from all these hours of research on JJ McCarthy?
My main takeaway is this. The Vikings have a plan and they are sticking to it, right? A lot of people are worried seeing JJ McCarthy currently 3rd or even 4th on the depth chart. He's not taking first team snaps, right? Those are going to Sam Darnold, some to Nick Mullins, occasionally even to Jaron Hall, though JJ McCarthy has been ahead of him. Mm-hmm. But the fact is they have a developmental plan. That developmental plan is, and we can get more into the details on this, but they're focusing a lot on his mechanics. They're focusing a lot on the playbook. And I think after seeing this, it is very unlikely he starts week 1 because they have things they want to do and they're going to do it, right? They do not want to do the mistake that some organizations have where you throw your rookie quarterback out week 1 and they're overwhelmed because they've got NFL playbook, they've got mechanics, they've got all these things you need to keep in mind. At a position in the NFL where if you are 1 second behind as a quarterback, just 1 second, the play's over and you're probably getting crushed by some huge defensive end. You need to be 100% in the game and all of this stuff needs to be automatic. The Vikings are not going to make that mistake of putting him out there right away.
Yeah, and there's a time and place for when experience does matter, when you need to get reps, but there's no rush to getting to that point right now, especially for someone as young as JJ McCarthy, just 21 years old. I do think Sam Darnold, briefly on Sam, I think he's a great guy to have in the locker room for JJ as well. It seems like he's completely embraced him. They're going to Timberwolves games together. O'Connell said that he was excited when they told him that they were drafting McCarthy. He even said that I can mentor this kid because I've been in the same position as a high draft pick. Sam Darnold, look, he's only 26, but it's nuts. Sam Darnold's a year older than us.
Wait. I feel like he's like 30.
Oh, no. Sam Darnold feels like he's been around forever. But
he's only 26.
No, he was born June 5, 1997.
Like Sam Darnold is a young dude who's out there hungry, trying to get his real chance with a good team now with the Vikings starting. Carolina and the Jets were disasters. And I just think to be able to approach this season with the mentality of, okay, I'm competing, like I'm trying to rejuvenate my career, but I can also be a mentor for this guy that I know the Vikings want as their franchise quarterback. He seems to be handling everything great, and I'm really rooting for him next year. I'm curious to see what happens if he gets off to a hot start. Like what happens in Minnesota with the quarterback, a possible controversy down the road. But yeah, Sam Darnold, I think, has been great.
I've really liked listening to Sam Darnold because you can just see his growth as a person and as a player. Like the guy clearly has some scar tissue, right? He's talked about how being in a functional organization helps him. But, I was listening on Purple Insider. They brought in somebody who had just been interviewing Sam Darnold. One of the questions he asked was, what do people not know about what it's like being a top pick in the NFL draft? And Darnold's response was, how much time you got? Right? Like this guy has seen it all. And if you look at what the Jets did to him,
New York. Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the worst situations a top rookie draft pick has been in the past 20 years. It was that they actively sabotaged him for years in New York. So look, I'm not saying Sam Darnold's going to be great. I don't think he's going to light up the world or anything. But considering they brought him in, it's very different than Kirk Cousins, right? They brought him in with an understanding that he would be mentoring the guy, and he's excited to do it. I really think having Sam Darnold around could be great for JJ McCarthy.
I'm rooting for him. He's got two revenge games right off the bat, right? San Fran and then the Jets in the first 5 weeks.
He does, one at a time.
I'm not sure if San Fran's a revenge game. The Jets are definitely
Jets
are for sure. Yeah, I mean San Fran, he'll want to beat them. We go like I was Brock's backup for this time.
Imagine Sam just comes out, he's 5-0.
Both at home, right?
Dominant, beats the 49ers, the Texans, and Aaron Rodgers.
If you check out our Vikings schedule prediction, I have the Vikings at 4-1 with the lone loss at Green Bay.
I know. That we're all rooting for Sam, obviously as Vikings fans, but as a person as well. Ziggy, when we talk about JJ McCarthy, from a talent standpoint here, it seems that the athleticism and the arm strength are notes that people are saying jump off the page. And are translating nicely to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about JJ McCarthy a lot, some of the benefits and things he needs to work on and all of that. But the thing, as you say, that has stood out was the athleticism. There are two things. One is the arm strength, right? We knew he had a decent arm coming out of college, but seeing him at the NFL level, you can watch videos on Twitter of him throwing balls next to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is a talented guy, right? He is an NFL quarterback. JJ McCarthy's balls look so much better. Right? You see ball after ball coming out.
Was that intentional? That had to be intentional.
But the way the man is handling the balls is just completely different. They're so quick. He's got his hand on him and immediately they're out.
He handles balls fantastically. I will say he handles balls fantastically.
It is rare that you see guys come into NFL training camps and genuinely look like top throwers. And of course, there's so many things to work on. We'll talk about that. But high ball velocity is one of the most important things in the NFL. You need the throw to get out quickly. Because I don't know why you're laughing.
I mean, we're off the rails at this point.
Look, here's the thing, right? Defensive backs in the NFL are so quick that if your throw is slow, they will be all over that.
They'll be all over his balls.
It's impossible to conversation.
Yeah,
guys. This is unbearable. I'm just trying to talk football.
Okay.
You started.
Let's go back here for a second. And that is impressive because when you're throwing next to Sam Darnold,
an NFL quarterback.
No, and when you listen to people talk about Sam Darnold in practice, again, he struggled in his career, but in practice, Sam Darnold has one of the prettiest balls you'll see.
Oh, look, when you compare,
and I'm serious, he does. Like you hear scouts talk about, they're like, Sam Darnold is a great thrower. So for JJ McCarthy to be impressing people next to someone like Sam, it's a great sign for the Vikings.
When you compare Sam Darnold's balls and JJ's balls, it's like comparing 1A and 1B. And they're just both miraculous, And
I'll also say we're talking about arm strength, and that's important. But also, we haven't seen what Kevin O'Connell can do of a mobile quarterback. And JJ McCarthy, he's not Lamar Jackson.
He got a hint of it with Josh Dobbs, and it was fun when it was fun until Dobbs fell apart, which we all knew was going to happen.
But if JJ McCarthy, his speed is not elite, but it is good enough to beat defensive ends chasing after him, and it's good enough to get first downs. And when you have a quarterback who, when things aren't going great, can step out of the pocket, keep their eyes downfield, and either deliver that deep shot or else run for a first down, that puts the defense in an impossible position. Because if you want to leave someone covered, we've seen this of Josh Allen over and over again. You've seen it of Patrick Mahomes over and over again. When you have a quarterback who can threaten both with their legs and with their arm, if you cover the deep ball, they'll make the smart choice. They'll get the first down, new set of downs. You can do whatever you want. If you go after them, they can deliver a great ball on the run, throw deep, be really effective. And you saw JJ McCarthy do this occasionally in college, but seeing the combination of quick feet and effective throwing on the run, I think once he fits into the Vikings offense, there could be a lot of exciting stuff there for creative play caller.
He's a bigger dude too than people realize. He's 6'3", 220. Like I don't think most people realize McCarthy is large.
The Vikings need to play Corum in the backfield, though.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited for Aaron Jones. The more I hear about this Vikings team, this roster, the more you see. As long as Justin Jefferson, someone asked in the mailbag a while back if we expect Jefferson to remain a Viking long term. He will, 100%. They're going to give him the contract he wants. Once he's back and Hawkinson gets back by week 5 or 6, it sounds like people are saying. I mean, this Vikings offense really is loaded. Great offensive line too. Jordan Addison, great number 2. Whenever McCarthy steps in, he certainly has the talent around him to succeed. It's just now a matter of getting him comfortable and having him be in a position to succeed at the NFL level. I'm really excited.
The thing that they're spending the most time on right now, besides the offense, which even Kirk Cousins said was tough to learn, Kirk Cousins, NFL veteran, great at learning offenses, is the mechanics. The thing that JJ McCarthy I saw on video struggling with the most is the Vikings are trying to change his stance in shotgun. And I think the mechanics were the one thing that Michigan didn't quite get to with him. You know, the Vikings want McCarthy standing with his left. Yeah, well, the Vikings want McCarthy standing with his left foot forward in shotgun, right? In college, he stood with his feet even. And small stuff like that can make a huge difference between throwing in rhythm, making a 1-2-3 drop work, all of that stuff. So as we say, the reason why I think they're spending so much time and don't want to rush McCarthy is because when you have, and anybody who's ever learned a sport or anything physical does this, when you have to keep in your mind, okay, I need to put my left foot forward. Okay, I need to make my steps exactly this much. Okay, I need to look this way, turn this way. That kind of stuff requires a lot of mental focus, and it's mental focus you just can't give in a game situation. So if you want quarterbacks to get good mechanics, you have to drill it over and over again, patiently in practice. And if you put JJ McCarthy out on the field right away, even if I think he might be able to be an effective quarterback, that stuff's just going to fall apart and he'll never win.
Yeah. And this is the time of year too where you're going to see people reacting like to the smallest things. I sent a text into our chat today, a tweet. Someone's like, the Vikings grilled McCarthy today because he can't hold on to the football.
Let me tell you, McCarthy was 16 for 18 in practice today, and the 2 throws he missed were overthrows that seemed to me were likely due to the mechanics, right? So even if he does have some incompletions and inaccuracies, that's to be expected. As keep in mind, JJ McCarthy has played football a certain way for years. He's won a lot of games. He's made a lot of passes. Trying to build that from the ground up is tough. You see, Anthony Richardson has been trying to do this. He talked about how during his rehab with the Colts, they used it as an opportunity to completely rebuild his throwing motion. And that stuff takes months.
Yeah. So you can't react too much to any news you see right now. We're still at the start of this.
Yeah. Don't listen. Update. There are going to be clickbait aggregators from probably Packers fans coming out here talking about how JJ McCarthy sucks. I've liked what we've seen so far. I know, another word for OTA, optional training exercise, is practice. We are reacting to practices.
Not a game.
But we have seen guys come out and practice and just absolutely poop their pants. JJ McCarthy has kept everything inside and under control. Jeez. No stains on him. I'm excited to see what he's able to do.
Do you know what's really funny is, I was just thinking about this, like Ziggy's down in Virginia, right? And we're up in New Jersey. And we really think about how crazy technology is. Like we're sitting in your basement in New Jersey with our headphones on, and we're able to hear Ziggy talking to us in Virginia.
Oh, so it's not
about something that happened in Minnesota today.
Something happened in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, what?
Can I say one last thing about JJ McCarthy?
Please.
With this throw velocity and with this footwork and these new mechanics, I'm just going to tell you right now, the crossing routes to Justin Jefferson will be beautiful. Timing and throw velocity are the two most important things on those routes. And you've seen, Paul, Justin Jefferson with Kirk Cousins, he feasted on those routes.
Unguardable.
That was the bread and butter of the Vikings offense. I cannot wait to see JJ McCarthy light up the NFL with that throw. It's going to be so beautiful.
Does your throat hurt a bit, Ziggy?
Let's move.
Look, man. Look, I don't know what you want from me. I'm excited about JJ McCarthy.
I am too. And it's only going to get better as the offseason continues. Let's move on to the mailbag here. We don't have as long a mailbag as usual, but we have some really good questions. So thanks again to everyone.
It was an hour and 20 minutes.
What?
An hour. That was hour 20, right?
What?
That OTA stuff?
Was it?
Yeah, it was an hour 20.
No, I can't be that. Well, maybe it is. Who knows?
Wait, it is an hour and it's over an hour after we started.
Well, here we go. We got the mailbag, boys. We got the mailbag. Let's dive into it. So the mailbag for today from Go Pack Go Infinity. He says, if you were to start a new franchise, which player would you take if you couldn't take Patrick Mahomes?
There's only one answer to this question.
I got my answer. Do you, Jack?
It's Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, right?
No, I take Sauce Gardner. They have a good quarterback. They have good receivers.
No, you're starting a franchise.
Oh, I thought you meant like
you were the first overall pick in an all NFL draft. Mahomes is off.
Oh, I thought you meant like would you add to the pack? Okay.
Oh no. You're starting a team.
I don't know if I'd take a quarterback. I think I'd go defense.
Oh God. Who'd you take, Sauce?
Like a corner who can lock up any number one receiver out there. I think it's huge.
Insane take. Over a quarterback.
But I get a good quarterback.
You're not even picking an edge rusher. You're picking a position where the highest paid corner is now being outpaid by a safety.
If you had a draft, you took 32 guys, guys and girls, whatever.
But who's a QB I can get in the later rounds?
In the second round of an all NFL draft, I mean, you would. I don't ever.
Every good quarterback will be gone.
Yeah, like you'd be rolling in with, maybe Baker.
I think I might rather Austin Baker.
What do you think?
Austin Baker over like Josh Allen and Surtain.
I mean, Sauce is elite.
Oh my God, this is insanity. Ziggy, let me ask you, how would you rank those quarterbacks? Would you go Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, probably number 2?
I'd go Herbert 2.
Herbert 2? Okay, I put Burrow there too. Then maybe, then Herbert would be in there.
I'd go Sauce and a bunch of QBs.
So Jack, I have a question for you.
Probably not yet.
What do you think is, with an elite quarterback, what do you think is about the worst record a team's going to have?
I think I'd load up on defense like the freaking Bears did and won the Super Bowl. Remember the 85 Bears? They had no offense, did they?
I remember the 2014 Jets with one of the best lockdown corners in NFL history.
I mean, think about the Jets last year.
Well, okay, but I wouldn't end up with who's their quarterback?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I ended up with someone half decent.
Well, depends on your flock.
No, hold on. Half decent quarterbacks.
You know what I'd do? You know what I'd seriously do? I'd get like 2 lockdown corners, 5 O linemen, and a decent quarterback.
You would not have a decent quarterback at that point in an all NFL draft.
No. I'm saying I'd get Sauce, then probably like Baker, then another corner, then I go all linemen.
Why don't you just take Josh Allen, then Patrick Surtain, then a bunch of great linemen? Now you have Patrick Surtain and Josh Allen.
Because I think Sauce is better than
Okay.
I think Baker's better than Josh Allen. Wait.
James Library, a member for us. Thank you, James. He says, if this one makes it through, appreciate you guys answering it. I know Russell Wilson has been taking a ton of criticism for his time in Denver. He still has a Super Bowl win and 2 appearances, a career completion rate of 64.7%, just over 43,500 yards, with 334 touchdowns to only 106 interceptions. I have to imagine he's still on the course for Canton. Do you guys think he is? And if not, what does he have to do to get back on that trajectory? I think he was on the Hall of Fame path at one point in Seattle. But now if I sit back and look at Russell Wilson's career, I say that's a very good quarterback, not a Hall of Fame quarterback. And in order to get back there, I think it's honestly too late in his career. But if you won a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh now, it's a different conversation. A 2-time Super Bowl champion. Even the Super Bowl he won was on the coattails of the defense at the time. Great career, but Hall of Fame worthy? I don't think so.
I mean, if you just hand the ball to Marshall and he's in the Hall of Fame, that's how absurd this is. If you just hand the ball, he's probably in the Hall of Fame.
You think?
Right?
I mean, yeah, it's not like the Seahawks that year had tons of problems scoring from in the 5 of Marshawn, right? It's not like that was if you were a Seahawks fan, the single most frustrating thing was how terrible they were handing the ball off inside the 5.
That's all they had to do. Do you think if he's so first off, Ziggy, do you think he's a Hall of Fame player right now?
Probably. I mean, it's difficult to see without the rest of his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're looking at Russell Wilson, here's the fact: is if you look at how he has done, you look at certain kinds of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, right? People think will probably be in or be close. People like Roethlisberger, like Stafford, like Eli, like Phillip Rivers, like even Matt Ryan. Russell Wilson, in terms of production per game, has been better than all of those guys by the advanced numbers and by even just the regular old numbers. He's got the Super Bowl ring, right? So you can't rule him out just because he doesn't have the Super Bowl. I think that our recent memory has really tainted the Russell Wilson experience, and the fact that he hasn't gotten MVP votes will turn a lot of people off. But he was a really good quarterback for a long time. If he's just able to put together a few more good seasons, I think he'll make the Hall of Fame.
I mean, I'd probably say he's in also. I mean, like
I'm close, but not there.
A 40-point win in the Super Bowl, and then an inch away from beating Tom Brady.
I think he needs to do a little more, but he's very close.
Look, what if he wins at Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah,
Pittsburgh.
I'm putting him in.
Then it's automatic. I think he is though. Everybody knows that's Pete Carroll's fault. He lost to the Patriots. It's not on Russ.
Look, yeah, I'm close, but I'm not there yet with Russ, and I probably do have recency bias, but
he beat Peyton Manning by 40 points.
Oh, he did.
Because here's the thing, when people think guy making Hall of Fame, they think like first ballot shoe-in lock, and Russ is not that. But if you're telling me over the years a quarterback that's had the kind of career success and was a defining face of the league for a number of years,
yeah, no, he was.
Is not going to be discussed every year as a guy who can make the Hall of Fame. And I think eventually on some inertia get in. Again, it's really tough. Russ is coming off far and away the worst couple seasons of his career, and I think he needs to do a little bit more. But if he puts together some decent seasons of a couple playoff wins here and there, if he wins a couple more playoff games in his career, I think he's in.
Would you sooner put in Russell Wilson or Matt Ryan?
Probably
Russ has the ring.
Yeah, probably Russ.
I think Matt Ryan's the better player, but if you ask me who do I think is more likely to get in, you're weighing an MVP versus a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it gets close, but I think that Canton voters love those rings.
And they both choked hard against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
I know. If Matt Ryan wins that Super Bowl,
they're
close situation.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting how these quarterbacks from today's day and age are treated, because they have amazing statistics compared to other people, but again, we're throwing the football a lot more. From Midwest Mountain Man, he says, another member, appreciate it. He says, football regular season win rates are much higher than baseball. The highest rate in the last 20 years was 0.685, which would be analogous to a 12-5 NFL season. Is this just because the larger number of games in baseball regresses win rates to the mean, meaning a hypothetical 162-game NFL season would have similar win rates? Or is it because the structure of baseball limits how much exceptional players can have? The impact exceptional players can have in football, elite QB is present for every offensive play. In baseball, you could have the greatest hitter in the world, but they'll only bat 1 out of every 9 hitters. It's an interesting question.
No. Baseball's a law of averages game. Like that's why you see a team like the Oakland A's can go and beat the New York Yankees 1 of 3 games. Like I forget who said this, but every team, some famous old ball players or announcer, someone said every single team will win 50 games in the MLB. Every team will lose 50 games. And it's the other 100 or so that matter. Because I mean it's just totally different. There's a different starting pitcher every day. A successful, Hall of Fame MVP type level guy is successful 3 out of 10 times.
Mhm.
You take a horrible team in baseball like the Marlins, a team who was 5-25 to start the year. They can go up and they can beat the Dodgers in any given day. Whereas football, that's not really the case. Like if a team like who's horrible.
I mean, you bring up a good point there where, the Panthers were a horrible team last year.
Let's say the Panthers go to Kansas City 3 straight weeks. They're not winning once.
Mhm.
You talk about a baseball series, it is hard to sweep a team.
Yeah.
I disagree. If you give the Panthers 5 games against the Chiefs, they'll win one.
I don't think they win in Kansas City. I think the Pirates at the Dodgers, the Pirates win 1 or 2. Football is totally different.
Do you have a similar answer to
It's law of averages.
Jack Ziggy?
It's law of averages.
I mean, but the reason it's a law of averages is because they play so many games. If you had that long an NFL season, I mean, the Panthers played very close with a lot of good teams last year. And they beat some good teams. They beat the Texans last year. So, no, I mean, I think what it is it's just the number of games.
I guess they're all pro.
And if you had fewer games means more variance.
Well, also think about it this way. If you talk about the star power, think about playoff runs but like think about playoff runs where you have like in the playoffs, you'll have a star pitcher go a lot more than he would in the regular season.
I'm actually going to take back my answer.
The whole answer? It was great.
But the number of games means a lot.
Well, it's 162.
Yeah. I mean, to see why number of games means a lot, think about how often you get.
But but when it was
that's the whole point of your argument.
When it was a 60-game MLB season, right? Remember a couple years back with COVID, the Marlins made the playoffs. Whereas if it was 160, they would not have.
Yeah, that was the whole point of your argument, was that you 50-50 and then the 100 matter. Number of games matter.
Oh, so I guess okay. So I guess
saved.
Yeah, think about it like in terms of the NBA versus the NFL playoffs. It's very rare you get a 1-8 or a 2-7 upset in the NBA. It's only happened a few times in history. In the NFL, it happens a lot more frequently. Why? Well, obviously you don't get a 1-8 upset, but you get the point. Just because when it's only one game, anything can happen. And indeed, in a 17-game season, anything can happen. In a 162-game season, the best teams will rise to the top.
Yeah, but then you come to the playoffs, though, in baseball, like, we know the Chiefs are not going to lose a playoff game, but you look at like the 83-win San Francisco Giants not long ago, wild card team, wins the World Series. It's just more, I guess, unpredictable also. Like anything can happen.
No, there's a lot of variance in the NFL. We've just seen that variance go one way in recent years.
Mm-hmm. There's more variance in baseball for sure.
Oh. Well, there's less variance because there's more games.
That's what I meant.
From Craig Sheeran 602, he says top 10 worst NFL fan bases. He says obnoxiousness, non-existent, whatever. I don't have a top 10 list for you, but in terms of not really existing, I think over the past few years, teams like the Chargers, the Commanders really haven't been great. The Jaguars haven't been great. They've had up and down moments. Philly fans are just so obnoxious in terms of teams I don't like.
Can I give a sneaky worst fan base answer that you never see? Ravens.
Yeah, I've heard some people say that about Baltimore before. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think most NFL fan bases are
most good. People and most fan bases are fine. But what this question is who has the loudest, most obnoxious minority? And there's two answers. There's the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys.
We're talking obnoxious or just
whatever you want, non-existent. Horrible. Like you don't like the Dolphins fan base that
you
much.
Talk non-existent. You got Dolphins, Chargers, Raiders.
Well, the Raiders.
Yeah,
they don't. You
say Raiders for non-existent?
And the Vegas Raiders, they're all tourists.
No, but the Raiders have fans everywhere.
I mean, the Oakland Raiders were legitimate. I think Vegas Raiders is all tourists. Like you'll see all terrible towels in Vegas.
Well, that's the Steelers, though. Steelers fan base can take over any stadium. San Francisco's taking over stadiums.
I mean, I'd probably go like Chargers and Dolphins then.
From WMZB2LU, he says, which team do you want to see win the Super Bowl if it's not the Vikings? Honestly, I root against everyone. I root for maximum misery once the Vikings are out. That's horrible, but I'm jaded. If I had to pick one team, though, one team to win the Super Bowl. Oh, the Dolphins. I'm
going to say the Jaguars. I always grew up saying the Jags were my second favorite team because they play in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville has my name in it. So I'm going to say the Jaguars.
You got anyone, Ziggy?
I'd like to see the Cardinals win the Super Bowl.
You're a Cardinals guy right now. You're a Cardinals.
Honestly, if you're talking teams that aren't the Vikings in the NFC, I like this team. I like this fan base. I want to see them do well. I would look like a genius if the Cardinals win the Super Bowl. So all that factors in.
Their fan base kind of sucks, though.
Well, Ziggy could lead the charge.
True.
The face of the Cardinals fans. My uncle's a Dolphins fan, and that's why I would root for them, because they're also so innocent. You know, Zach's a Dolphins fan. From JK Zarada, who is a member. Thank you very much, JK. He says, have you guys thought about doing a fan/subscriber fantasy football where you auction the spots in the league? I know I'd pay good money to compete with you guys in a league. I think everyone would enjoy weekly updates on how you guys do against Butt Pounder 420. I mean, that's a suggestion that we haven't considered too much of yet. Probably not.
But we are going to have a pick'em league.
But a pick'em league,
members.
I would love to have happen with the members. We're definitely going to do something in terms of going up against people in a head-to-head sort of environment. That's not a bad idea. We'll definitely talk about that more. But a pick'em league for sure is going to happen. Fantasy football league, that would be fun though. I mean,
I would want to team up. I want to team up with Butt Pounder if we did that. Jack Pounder.
From Miles Williams. Which running back is the bigger asset to their team this year? Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, etc. Follow up. Which team made the biggest mistake letting one of these running backs leave? I'll be a member as soon as I pay off my wedding, reception, and honeymoon next month. Go back, go.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. Definitely. That's more important than being a member of the Paul Farrington show.
Well, I don't know.
That's awesome. Congratulations. In terms of the running backs, which will be the biggest asset to their team, I actually think that Saquon Barkley is both going to be the biggest asset to the Eagles this year, and it depends on how you view it for the Giants, but the biggest loss, like Saquon Barkley has been that offense for a number of years now. He's been the guy when there's been no receivers in that room. He makes that offense hum whenever it is humming, and I think that's a huge loss for Daniel Jones. On the other side, DeAndre Swift was great last year, but when this dude is healthy, there's really no running backs in the league other than McCaffrey and Derrick Henry, we've said, that have the impact Saquon does. I think he could be unbelievable in this Eagles offense.
I go Saquon also. I've always been a guy who babies the running back positions. That's kind of meaningless. For the most part, I believe it is. And I've said that, you just need a good offensive line. But Saquon Barkley has defied that. He's just totally proved me wrong in that sense with what he has done with the Giants. I think it's Barkley's the easy answer here.
I'm gonna disagree with you all. I think Aaron Jones is the most important for the following reason. The Packers and the Eagles have a quarterback. They've got receivers, they've got an offense that's ready to go. The Vikings do not, because they do not have that elite quarterback. So when you're talking about when is the running back really important, it's not when you've got a great quarterback who can step in and make a big play every time they're called upon. It's when you really need to get something going and your quarterback is just coming up short. When your rookie's not quite getting it done, when your Sam Darnold is not actually elite like everyone told you in the offseason he was going to be. So that's why, for situational reasons, I think Aaron Jones will probably have the worst season of the three of those. But I think he will be the most important for the Vikings. And he will be important for the only two Viking games that really matter this season. The two Packers revenge games.
Wait, who asked that question again?
That was from Miles Williams.
And he's getting married?
Just got married.
Or
at least is paying off the wedding.
Regardless, whether he just got married or not, paying things off is always exciting.
Does if your new wife has any single friends, that would
geez, here we go.
Jack, come on.
No,
from Mercury Road.
Quite incredible.
Mercury Road 55, who is a member, it says JJ McCarthy has shown extraordinary ability to read defenses and game plans. So my question is this: in 5 years, who's the better coach, Mike McCarthy or JJ McCarthy? Okay, we get it. We're the Packers.
That's funny.
Yeah, all right.
Can I just say one thing though? Mike McCarthy gets such a bad rap as an NFL head coach. And I get that he's not particularly exciting, but to be a decent coach in the NFL for what is it now, almost 20 years?
He's had a lot of really, really successful teams. Now they do choke in playoffs, but
I get that he's only won one Super Bowl with a lot of good quarterbacks, and you worry about that. But this is a guy who consistently wins. and is consistently a coach that guys like having around, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
So I don't stand for the Mike McCarthy slander.
Oh no, 100%. He has had a very successful. How many guys win a Super Bowl? How many coaches are desperate for a Super Bowl?
I think JJ McCarthy in a couple of years maybe the head coach in Michigan.
JJ McCarthy is good. Dude, just wait. It's coming. XX McLovin says, good day to everyone. Here's a good question. McLovin is Love and Love. Do you think with Love's style of leadership, it will alter his career and success with the team versus how Rodgers' leadership was? Do you think this approach / his current approach is the best for the situation where everyone's young, contacting new players, having meetings at his place, etc.? We answered this earlier in the show during the Jordan Love OTA portion. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's much better than it was with Aaron Rodgers in that regard.
And I think you raise a good point about how what is good leadership matters based on the situation. Rodgers' style of leadership was really effective for a lot of years. But you saw in 2021 and 2022, really 2022, when they brought in a bunch of rookies, he was just not in a position to be the mentor and leader they needed.
Yeah, he had
his style was, he was hard-nosed, we're going to win now, everyone's going to do their job. You saw this with the same thing happen with the Patriots, right? Towards the end of that run when they needed rookie talent. That style just doesn't do super well for guys who aren't established in the NFL. So this is not to say Rodgers' style of leadership was bad. He was a very effective leader. But it wasn't right for where the Packers were and Jordan Love is now.
I also think that Aaron Rodgers, to be fair to Aaron Rodgers, I think now he's taken on that approach really well with the Jets as being that mentorship role.
It is so hard to change leadership styles overnight because how are you supposed to know?
Yeah, no, but like when you say with the Jets, he's shown a much better adaptability in that regard.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Okay, I thought you were just like, no, shut up.
No, look, has he been, we will see how things go this year, but at least when the TV cameras are on, he's doing the right thing.
Let me ask you guys, leadership aside, one season, this upcoming season, would you roll the dice with Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love for the year? Who would you rather have? Aaron Rodgers versus Jordan Love. Who are you taking?
Probably Aaron Rodgers.
Ziggy? Yeah,
I'm going Jordan Love. I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers this year.
Probably Aaron Rodgers. It'd be so hard
just for one go.
It'd be so hard not to.
Because Jordan Love, should be very, very good. I'm expecting him to have it.
All the Packers fans are going to say Jordan Love easily. No doubt.
As they should.
Yeah,
they 100% should.
As they should.
I think I'd roll the dice with Rodgers.
I think I'd go Rodgers also.
But Love could be an MVP. Multiple people are picking him to win MVP.
And there's a world where week one Rodgers in San Francisco gets hurt.
No. We could be dead.
Yeah. He could be in again.
Again, I just have this thing where with the aging star, the veteran, all-time greats, I always expect them to have one more run in them. And, even if Rodgers has that, Love could still be better. But
on the other hand, I always am bearish on a quarter players 1 year too early.
Isn't that crazy?
But I was bearish on Aaron Rodgers last year.
Well, and yeah, we're talking about
yeah.
Sorry,
with our powers combined, you and I could get exactly right when players are gonna just average our answers.
Jack and I just said we're taking a 40-year-old quarterback off an Achilles injury over someone who was the second half of the year MVP, and most people are talking as an MVP candidate. So I
might just be going off the name at this point.
Just three more questions here. We'll go through these quicker. X Pomsky X says, kind of following McLovin on the leadership idea. Do you think Love is willing to not take a massive contract, keep it closer to 40 mil or lower than being at the 50 million so that the team can have slightly more room to have future weapons? I don't expect that at all. I think he's going to reset the standard for a quarterback market.
And I'll say this. People talk about guys taking these kinds of team-friendly deals. Players just shouldn't. And I'll say why. There is no guarantee the team will use the money you save. And more importantly, there's no guarantee they will use it well. How many bad free agent acquisitions have we seen where teams feel a need to spend some money so they rush out and sign whoever to some mega deal and it's a disaster? And indeed, if you look back at it historically, everyone talks about Tom Brady taking team-friendly deals. He basically never did this, right? He didn't take allegedly team-friendly deals until late in his career, and that's because he was a 35-plus-year-old quarterback negotiating extensions years in advance. He did something unprecedented, and that's why he didn't get paid. Did the Buccaneers really think Tom Brady was going to be good for the length of that contract? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So the thought that guys should just take team-friendly contracts, then you'll suddenly get future weapons, really good guys coming in. That's just never how it plays out. You should get yours, and it's the general manager's job, especially with all of the mechanisms you have, like void years and option bonuses and things to lower cap hits. It's the general manager's job to figure it out. You get paid.
Yeah, I think I take all the money that I'm offered.
Yeah, he's going to.
I think I take it all.
So Jeremy says, what is the likelihood of a non-quarterback winning an MVP in the next 5 years? I'd say very, very low.
We'd have to see like a Calvin Johnson or an AP.
You'll need like if Justin Jefferson goes for 2,000 yards and
2,000 yards from Justin Jefferson wouldn't do it.
150 yards and like 24 touchdowns or something, sets all the records, then I can see it. Like I do think a receiver could have a shot, but
it's got to be like a Megatron or Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, you're gonna need you'll have to have a running back or a receiver just go out of his mind.
Like ballistic, which probably is on.
Yeah, I guess just as I think about it, Justin Jefferson in 2022 put up 1,800 yards and 8 touchdowns. A great season, one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a wide receiver in some time. He got 0 first place votes.
I mean, if he goes for 2,200 or 2,000 and 18 touchdowns, maybe. Like Tyreek Hill was in MVP talks last year for a while.
Yeah, how many first place votes did Tyreek Hill get last year?
Oh, I mean,
he finished 6th.
I mean, I'm sure.
I know he fell off though.
I'm sure Megatron had his votes, didn't he?
Megatron, that was the year. I think that was the year Peterson won. But also, Peyton threw for 50 touchdowns. It's a quarterback award at this point.
Yeah.
Last one from Tony Ball, who's a member as well. Thank you very much. He says, without playing a single snap, adding Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, Vegas has the Bears at 8.5 wins. Jordan Love and the baby Packers almost go to the NFC Championship game, and Vegas has them at 9.5 wins. Most media predictions have Chicago and Green Bay going 10-7. Can you guys explain how Vegas and the media think that Chicago is almost as good as the Pack?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, there's a sensible answer to this.
No, it's outrageous.
Here's the sensible answer for why the people who know much more than us and historically get things right. Set aside the media.
I beat the books every day. I beat the books.
All right, Jack.
I'm smarter.
Let's be.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
I'm smarter than the books.
You are just not. So why does Vegas have them this way? Here is why. Jordan Love had a very good 1/2 of one season and won 9 games off of it. Now, here's the thing. What did Jordan Love do well at? Were they stable metrics? No, they were primarily unstable metrics, things that often don't roll over from year to year. So there's just not a lot of certainty that Jordan Love is actually going to be able to be. It's likely that his average will be something between what you saw at the beginning of the season and the end of the season. And that is a slightly above average NFL quarterback. Now, he could be better than that. Packers fans are certainly hoping for it. But when you look historically at guys that have one really bad half of a season and then a really good half of a season, very rarely do they continue the level of play they had in the second half. Then you look at this Bears team. The defense was very good for the second half of last year. They're adding an exciting quarterback. They've added a bunch of weapons. They've got an easier schedule. There are a lot of things in their favor. This team is not as far apart from the Packers as people think they are. And there are plenty of possible worlds, maybe not the closest ones, but there are plenty of possible worlds where Caleb Williams puts together a better season than Jordan Love. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But the gap between 9.5 wins, and the more wins you add, the bigger the gap gets. The gap between 9.5 wins and 10.5 and 11.5 is really big. Going from very good to elite is much harder than going from bad to good. So all of those features have been built into the projections, and that's why the Vegas win totals are where they are.
I just think that it's hard to look at a guy like Jordan Love, who has just shown last season that he could be one of the best in the NFL, and who we're all talking about as a potential MVP candidate, and so are the odds as well. Where is he? Top 6 in those? Mm-hmm. And then somebody who's coming out of college who hasn't taken a snap in the NFL.
But it's not Caleb. It's not, if it were just Caleb Williams versus Jordan Love, you can see that in the MVP odds. But there's so much more than that. Is the Packers defense? I mean, it's easy to forget the Packers defense lost to Bryce Young and the Panthers.
I think you have to prove it in the NFL first.
Wait, they almost lost, right?
Yeah, they almost lost.
Yeah.
I think you have to prove it in the NFL first before you get booked with the respect like that.
Tony then goes and says, I would like you guys to do a Detroit Lions game by game prediction. Do you think they will win 12 games or more? I do think they'll be.
We'll make a video like that.
We'll do a video.
We could do that.
And then what style defense do you think the Packers play next season? I'm thinking a lot of pressure, corners blitzing, aggressive coverage. Now that we have them, 3 safety looks. Was it the base is 4-3 with Halfley, I believe. They play press man. Xavier McKinney has an important job at safety, where Halfley said he wants to have a guy who roams, who can intercept passes, come down, stop the run. Yeah, I think it'll be an aggressive defense for the most part in Green Bay. The press man is a fun defense to play, because that does, if your corners aren't ready for it, could open up some problems. You have anything on that, Ziggy or Jack?
Sounds good.
We'll wait for the game by game prediction, but that's just what was it, over 12?
Oh no, I was talking about the Packers defense.
Oh yeah, Packers defense good.
4-3 press man. All right, that's it for the mailbag. Do we do this quick stage draft?
We should do a stage draft.
Yeah, we did say it off the top of the show.
Let's do it.
Right.
We have to.
So I have the number 1 pick. Again, we'll go. See, one of my coworkers said that he wishes we went 4 rounds to make it to be a little bit more fair to the person with the last pick in the draft. But we're going 3 today. We're going 3.
Yeah, we're tired. It's been a long recording.
So, all right, I have the number 1 pick in the states draft. I think this is one of the more difficult spots we've had. There's a lot of states, and so many people think different things about each one. If I were to draft an individual state, I am obviously taking my home state of New Jersey, the Garden State, beautiful state. You have the city vibe north. In the south, you have that beautiful Jersey, the flowers, the trees.
Yeah, real beautiful. Beautiful Jersey Shore. Yeah, fantastic.
The world revolves around this area right here. So I'm taking New Jersey, my state, as
I'll be honest. I will be honest. If you gave me the top 40 states, New Jersey would not be in it.
I love this state.
You got the dirt water of LBI and all that, but yeah, I live in New Jersey too.
I love this state.
I'm not going to hate on it. And Jersey's a great state.
We're the smartest state, the funniest state. You know
it. Number 2, I'm going to Florida.
Great. I love Florida.
A place where everyone's happy. A place where everybody up here says, "Oh, I wish I lived down there." Bright, sunny, constant.
Hurricanes.
Water's a bit blue.
Go down there then. Go. Why don't you leave? Leave, people. If you don't want to be here, but you know why you're here.
But people do leave. A lot of people do.
When they're 70.
Well, I mean, no, they snowbird when it's freezing.
When they're 60, they snowbird.
No, I know people who snowbird.
You know no one who snowbirds who's 20 years old, who's like 40 years old.
When it's like November here, it is disgusting. Everyone's like, "Oh,
November and December are great. It's Christmas
time."
New
Jersey has 3 nice months. It's the summer.
It's beautiful here.
Everyone's like, "Oh, I wish I was in warm weather. I'd go vacation to Florida."
January, February are tough.
Then you land back in Newark. It's like, "Oh, this sucks."
Well, Newark, that's where we get our bad rep.
No state income tax. Bright and sunny constantly. Pools everywhere. Palm trees, girls in bikinis.
It's really nice. It's really nice.
It beats New Jersey. It beats New Jersey.
You'll miss the seasons. It's a beautiful state.
I don't know if I would.
Ziggy, go ahead. Number 3.
There are a lot of factors you have to consider when you're drafting a state, right? You got to consider education, healthcare, the economy, infrastructure, the environment, crime. Like all of these things are things you have to consider. So this is a tough choice for me. I feel like there's a lot of states I could go with. I'm going to take a big one, too. I'm going to go Massachusetts.
Okay.
Right? You give me the history. You give me the universities and the research. You give me the biotech. You give me a solid environment. Some of the best healthcare in the nation. And then I'm going to flip that and go Washington. Right? Again,
it's pretty out there, yeah.
It's beautiful. One of the most beautiful states in the entire country. You got Microsoft and Boeing, 2 titans of industry. You got some great schools. Again, great healthcare. Unfortunately, the driving in and out of Seattle might be the single worst transportation experience you can go in your life. The traffic there is worse than the George Washington Bridge. But otherwise, great state.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to take one state below you and go Oregon. I've been to both Washington and Oregon. Oregon to me is more beautiful.
Oh, these days, Oregon is a tough sell.
I was at Crater Lake, one of the most amazing sights I've ever seen in my entire.
I used to live in Oregon and Washington. Trust me, Washington's better.
I liked Oregon, man. Crater Lake was beautiful. It was a beautiful
Oregon's
scene.
a tough sell for me, man.
Did you go to Wizard Island?
No, I've been to Corvallis and Eugene. They're both kind of
Fair enough.
All right, so
You've never been to Oregon.
no,
You
but
can't come here and crap on my pick.
I've lived there. You can take it on my authority. Oregon's not all it's cracked up to be.
But it's a good state.
It's a solid state. It's
You
not New Jersey.
You got you got the Oregon Ducks. You got the Beavers. You got the
what do you
Woods,
got?
all right,
the
let's see.
mountains.
Now we come back to me here.
You got David's friend Ian.
What do what do I combine with New Jersey to form a great trio? Well, I mean, I do like the Carolinas. Georgia's a really nice state. Georgia's a pretty state. I am going to go. I like this right here. I'm going to have an East Coast place. I'm going to have my Midwest place, and I'm going to have my West Coast place.
You're taking Colorado for the Midwest.
I'm going to take California. And I know that people shit on California, but you're giving me Yosemite National Park, Lake Tahoe. I get the big cities in San Fran and LA.
Yes. San Fran.
I'm pretty sure San Fran and LA are negative.
That is a horrendous pick. That's the worst. That's like not even top 35.
No, California's a beautiful state.
No, that's like not even top 30.
No, it is. It is the most beautiful state.
It's a beautiful state. Yeah,
the cities are top.
I like the Redwood Forest.
I mean,
yeah,
cool. I'm not. Well, we're not drafting. We're not drafting based on just the city sucking. I mean, like
cities have to be a major part of the state.
Most cities suck, but I'm saying California, New Jersey. I mean, things happen there. And then I'm gonna go.
California's a horrendous pick.
No, California's fine.
You just screw yourself.
Then I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna take Wisconsin as my number 3. I mean, Colorado was close, but are you kidding me with Wisconsin here falling? I get Quick Trips. I get I get Madison, the best campus, city campus that there is. I mean, I guess I get the Packers, so that's a huge L.
Well, you just won for our show.
You're giving me Culver's, the home place of Coles. I really like Wisconsin. I think it's a great state. Everyone I know there is super nice. I have Wisconsin, New Jersey, California. Beat it.
I like. I just won the draft. I got, what do I have? I have
your Florida,
Oregon. I'm taking Pennsylvania number 3.
That's
again. You bring up history.
Tough pick.
Philadelphia. You think of United States, you think Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Who likes Philadelphia? Why am I getting dragged on for
that's where that thing was signed.
The Declaration of Independence.
Yes, the Declaration of Independence.
That thing.
No. We have an Ivy League school, University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia.
We have Princeton. Beats you.
We have, your California ruined you. Jersey's fine. California ruined your pick.
I mean, it was Stanford.
That's not Ivy League. That's not Ivy League.
Have you been to California?
People who I have.
Where?
It sucked.
Where?
It sucked.
Where?
San Francisco. Well, no, I don't want to crap on it. People can be watching from anywhere. No, it was fine. But I just don't like the pick.
You probably went to Bakersfield. You're like, oh, this state's terrible.
My grandma lived in California, in Beverly Hills. She also hated California, but she said Bakersfield was the asshole of California.
Well, Bakersfield's the worst.
I've never been there.
No disrespect. I've got a lot of family from Bakersfield, but it's the worst.
I don't want to sit here and dump in people. There's nice parts everywhere. I just
yeah.
I'm not going to dump in anything. I hated California.
Yeah, I'm not gonna dump on California.
So Jack, what are you taking? You took Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you got the Ivy League school in UPenn. You got Philly with the history, Declaration of Independence. Pittsburgh, great football.
What I don't understand what's the selling.
Pennsylvania is that you can bet legally in Pennsylvania. It's in the Northeast.
You can bet legally is the point.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, you got
the.
I've got this locked up.
You drive through Pennsylvania.
You got the Wawas.
You go out west on Route 80, and you're dying to get out of Pennsylvania. You're like, when do I get out?
You got two nice major cities.
Is Philly a nice major city?
The best burger ever eaten was in Philly.
Burgers where you go cheesesteak if you're gonna make the argument.
The burger was great. It's Founding Fathers Sports Bar and Grill.
Jack, you were talking about what did you say Oregon had that was really good?
Crater Lake National Park.
So they got one lake. Well, what if I could take a state that has more than one lake? More than 2 lakes.
Oh my
More
God.
than 3 lakes.
We could be here a while.
More than 4 lakes. I'm not going to count all the way up to 10,000, but you know where I am going. Give me the state of Minnesota. They got the best football team in the NFL. No question about it. They've got an incredible state all around. Really, I think Minnesota is the most underrated state in the entire U.S. I've been to Minnesota quite a few times. I love that state. Skull.
I'd rather go to Crater Lake than than any one of the 10,000 ones in Minnesota. And like anybody who's been to all those can attest.
Minnesota's a great state. You just it's just nicer there. You know, the air's a little cleaner. The sun's a little brighter.
Like you put those doesn't U of Minnesota have like you can't walk outside? They have like those tunnels. Yeah, I mean that place sounds horrendous.
I mean, if weather's all you're talking about,
weather's a major factor.
Well, you get used to weather wherever you live.
Oregon's kind of cool.
But Oregon and Pennsylvania. What is weather?
But Minnesota is much colder than PA. Minnesota's like negative temperatures. PA is not. Yeah, PA is not that cold. Like not like comparatively.
Are there any southern states, Texas, that people like Texas?
I actually like Alabama.
Stay away from every southern state.
I like Alabama.
Is there? Was the Carolinas a miss?
You cannot. No, stay away from southern states.
Maybe you could go up to like New Hampshire's very nice. People like New Hampshire.
New Hampshire's I think a sleeper pick.
We'll have to see what people think in the comment section. So I have. Let's sum it up here. So I have New Jersey, California, Wisconsin. Jack has Florida, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. And Ziggy, you have, say that again.
I've got Massachusetts, Washington, and Minnesota.
Washington.
I win.
We'll have to see what people say. So
everyone's going to pick Paul because he got Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, in our show, Paul went.
We
don't have Zach to make some outrageous pick at least.
Paul played to his to
the crowd,
to his audience. So I also don't like. I don't want to like offend anybody either. Like I'm jokingly, Like I don't mean what I'm saying. I wasn't.
No, it's a draft. Our job is to criticize everyone else's pick, regardless of whether it's good or not.
California.
I love Florida. Great state. Even though people dog on it.
It is a great state.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. There's a long show. We hope everyone enjoyed it. If you stuck around till the end, this could even be broken up. Who knows what winds up happening to this episode?
I mean, I think this is the longest report we've ever had.
2 hours?
Nah, not yet, but close. We appreciate everyone who stuck around. There will be lots of breakout clips from this. We'll be back next week. Please remember to always leave us questions in the comments. Keep a lookout for community page posts about mailbags. And then, of course, you can always subscribe, like, and comment, or become a member if you want to the channel. And there are membership perks already, but there will be more to come. Appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you next week.